Okay, so my name is Maitreyabandhu. I'm 49. Maitreyabandhu is a Buddhist name. I was given that name when I was ordained into the Triratna Buddhist order 20 years ago. Before that I was known as Ian Johnson, and I come from a small town in Warwickshire called Henley in Arden. I suppose my early experience of being gay was, being brought up in a small town where my only role model was Larry Grayson, I seem to remember. I thought I would end up being Larry Grayson. I thought that was the only thing you could be. And I found it very difficult having this kind of dreadful secret. I remember as a child even sort of praying that I'd have some accident so that I'd be in a wheelchair so you'd never need to know that I was gay. I was in the church choir. I had sort of sexual relationships with boys when I was very little, and they were always a sort of very private and secret part of my life. So I think I grew up very much in an atmosphere of guilt and secrecy. And then on the other hand, I was very charming, or could be very charming. And sang in the choir, was very angelic, but I was having this kind of double life. So my early life in Henley in Arden was a double life, a life of secrecy and pain on one side, and then a sort of public life in another. I came to London to do my art degree. I came to Goldsmiths College where I did painting. I was in the year before Damien Hirst. All the young British artists, the YBAs that we've come to know, I was in that set, although I've not become famous. And on the second year of art college, I was very, very unhappy at art college. I'd come out as being gay. It was great being gay. That was fine. I got a boyfriend, a very lovely boyfriend. But I was very unhappy. And I definitely was looking for something, an answer to life, an answer to the cause of suffering, I think. When I was younger, I thought the cause of suffering was being gay. That once I'd come out, that would be it. It would be like I'd finally be liberated and I'd be happy. I felt like coming out was like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But what happened is once I did come out, I just went into another tunnel, a different kind of tunnel. So I was still trying to find, well, why am I unhappy? Why so many people unhappy? And at first I looked to gay politics, to anti-sexist politics. Then I looked a little bit to religion, not very much, and then I discovered Buddhism. I came along to the London Buddhist Centre. I cycled over on a November evening. It was snowing, I remember, when I was 24. Came to London Buddhist Centre in Bethnal Green. As soon as I was taught to meditate, as soon as I learnt to meditate, halfway through being taught, I knew I was a Buddhist, and always had been. I couldn't even say what that was, but I knew I was one. It wasn't that I could meditate. I couldn't meditate for toffee. I used to just fall asleep. But I instinctively knew that Buddhism was what I was. I also knew instinctively that being gay wouldn't be an issue in Buddhism. There wasn't going to be... I could be who I was, who I am. I didn't have to make a secret of it, but neither did I have to make a virtue of it. That being gay was just like having brown hair as I had then, or dark brown hair as I had then, and no more than that. And I knew that would be fine in Buddhism. I knew there wouldn't be an issue in Buddhism, and indeed there never has been. Buddhism understood correctly, doesn't make an issue out of homosexuality. There isn't an issue to make. It's like making an issue out of the wind or autumn. It's a fact of life, and people need to come to terms with the facts of life, including that particular fact of life. Yeah, so that's how I came along. I've lived in the London Buddhist Centre now for 20 years. No, a bit more, 23 years, 24 years even. I've lived in communities all that time. So that means that I've lived in a spiritual community. So for most of the time I've shared a bunk bed with a friend in a shared room. I'm nearly 50 now and I'm still in a bunk bed. But living communally has been a very big part of my life. Practicing Buddhism together with friends, both gay and straight. Again, no need to be secret about anything about my life. Everyone has their own pain, whether they're gay or not. I've made my closest friends living communally together. And I spent the last 20 years, particularly since I was ordained, teaching Buddhism, teaching meditation, particularly to newcomers. On a Wednesday evening, I've taught on a Wednesday evening for the last 20 years. And more latterly writing poems, I've written 2 books on Buddhism. One of the books I've written on Buddhism, called Thicker Than Blood, is about friendship in Buddhism. And in that book I talk about the experience of being gay and the issues of being gay in friendship. So I've been very, very fortunate. I've been able to live a Buddhist life and a creative life, and I've not had to make a problem out of something that isn't a problem.
So where's your home at the moment?
Where's my home?
Where is it based?
So I live above the London Buddhist Centre in Bethnal Green. So it's in an old Victorian fire station that was converted 33 years ago into a Buddhist centre. And above that you've got 2 communities, and I'm living in one of those. And I've lived in the Buddhist centre, as I say, for 20 years or so, 23 years.
And are you a vegetarian?
I'm a vegetarian, yes. I've been a vegetarian since I was 23, I think. I've never become a vegan. I should be a vegan, I think, but I don't seem to want to be. But yes, I've been a vegetarian all that time. I've taught all that time. I've meditated all that time. I go on retreats often. So I go off into the countryside to go on retreats, sometimes on my own, sometimes with others. I'm often leading retreats. I've also had the same boyfriend for all that time. So before I got involved in Buddhism, I got involved in politics, anti-sexist politics, and I was involved in a picket stopping men going into a women-only night at the Fallen Angel pub. I don't know whether anyone remembers the Fallen Angel pub. They used to have a women's-only night, and they discovered that it wasn't legal. You can't do that in a pub, so because it's a public house. So some men would go, and we would picket the pub and stop men going in. Actually, as it is, very few men wanted to go in. And on that picking line, I met Gary, who became my boyfriend, for want of a better term. And I've been going out with him, seeing him ever since. He lives in North London and has done all that time. I've never lived with him. He now has 2 children. So children have become part of my life, 2 different mothers. And I've got this new experience of, well, I'm not a father, but I'm much closer than a normal uncle. It's a whole new experience for me, not something I expected, and I haven't done anything to earn it. But yeah, so that's part of my life as well. There are children in my life, and Gary's always been part of my life. But I try not to put all of my, I've always wanted to make sure that I'm living a complete life, not just one that's bound up with a couple. Fond of them as I am, love them as I do. I've wanted also to develop my friendships, to practice Buddhism. But yeah, so I've now got this life where I'm living at the centre. I've got a boyfriend. We're not boys anymore, we're 50, nearly 50, who's got children. And I write and I meditate.
So have you ever been to India, Tibet, Nepal?
No. All of my Buddhist life, this last 25 years or so, it's all taken place pretty much in Bethnal Green. It's about as far east as I've needed to go. I sometimes venture out on retreats to Norfolk, or Suffolk. I think the farthest afield I've been for a retreat is Italy. I've never been on pilgrimage yet. I should have really by now, but I've never been to India. I've never been to Tibet. I've not got a great even interest in. In a way, my own practice of Buddhism is very much secured in my Western life. I'm not trying to change my background in that sense. But yes, all of my Buddhist life really has happened in Bethnal Green in the East End, yeah.
So what's the meaning of your name?
My name, yes, that's a good point. So my name, Maitreyabandhu, it was given to me when I was ordained 20 years ago. Maitreya means the kindly one, or the friendly one, the kindly one. Bandhu means brother. It's the same root as the Latin for brother. So it means friendly friend or friend of friendship. And the idea of your name is it's something to live up to. So when I was given my name at my ordination, it's like someone saying, this is you at your best, this is who you could be, this is who you need to be. And with my name, it's very obvious whether I'm being that or not. And sometimes I am, and sometimes, frankly, I'm not. But that's the idea of your name, is that you live up to your name, that I do become a friend, a friendship, a kindly brother. Maitreya also is a future Buddha. Most people get this idea of a future Buddha. Is that all right? Most people get the idea of a future Buddha wrong. So they think that some people actually came to ask me if I am the future Buddha, and I had to say no, I'm not. And then he said, "Are you just saying that?" And I said, "No, I'm not just saying that. I'm not." But really, you can only have a future Buddha once the Buddhism's died out. So another way you could think of my name is friend of the future of Buddhism. And I have tried to do that. I have tried to do what I can to communicate Buddhism in the modern world to modern men and women who really need it. Yeah.
So you've got a boyfriend, but do you live a celibate life?
No chance. No, I'm not celibate. I'm more celibate than I was. I slightly fear that I'm going to have celibacy thrust upon me. But no, I'm not celibate. I value celibacy, I suppose, but I don't particularly consciously practice it. I mean, all of us are celibate sometime. I'm celibate as I sit here now. I'm celibate when I go on retreat.
So do you have an open relationship?
I suppose we do. We've had different phases of our relationship over to so long, and we agreed a while ago that we could have different relationships, but we choose not to talk to each other about it. I'd find it personally too painful. He definitely has other relationships. I don't seem to have time. Also, you need someone with positive inclination. You need someone's active consent. Yes, but so I suppose it is an open relationship, although I forget that it is. No.
So in a sense, you have two families. One is kind of a more personal family, and one is a more spiritual family.
In a way, yes. I mean, I suddenly ended up with something nerve-wrackingly close to a family, much closer than I expected to get, with two little girls who I love, very much. They're great. And the oldest has been asking me about death, which she's only 4. And she says, "What happens when you die, Maitreyabandhu?" And I said, "Well, I think that we all go into I don't know, nobody knows, but we think we might go into a bright white light." And she said, "Yes, but what happens before that?" Yeah, so in a way I do have two families. I have Gary's family, who are very close to me. But my primary world really is my Buddhist world. At least that's what I need to make it primary. So in Buddhism, friendship is the most important relationship. Certainly in the Triratna Buddhist order, I think we try to balance the weight that we put into relationships with an emphasis on friendship. Too much can be made of a relationship, and too much can be made of family, in a sense of it.
So do you connect with other Buddhist communities?
I don't know. I have very little to do with other Buddhist communities. I mean, mainly because my time is taken up and used up in the work that I do here at the London Buddhist Centre. I'll teach 2 or 3 times a week. I'm very much involved in running the Buddhist Centre. I never seem to have very much contact with other Buddhists, not particularly through desire not to. It's just that Buddhist traditions tend to have developed quite separately from each other. I have done some interfaith work and some Buddhist work. Personally, I'd rather teach Buddhism to those who want to learn it. Other Buddhists can do the same.
And do you expect to be living here the rest of your life?
Yes, I was walking around the park just earlier, and a friend of mine was saying, you've lived here for 25 years, that's 24 years, I can't remember what it is. Someone wrote me a card just today saying, people come and go, but you seem to stay. Partly that's just because of my nature. What I'd like to do in life is just to go somewhere, stay there, and just deepen my experience of myself, of the world around me, of people. I mean, I live at the top of the Buddhist Centre. It's quite a climb up the stairs, so I don't know how I'm going to manage that when I'm in my 70s. But I've got no great feeling to move. I'll only want to move if I have a network of friends that I'm moving into, that I've got work that needs me, that I can make a valuable contribution. I sort of believe that life needs to be making a valuable contribution. I need to be doing that. At the moment I can still do that here. When it feels like I can't, or whether I'm a bit in the way, because I've been here for too long, then, well, perhaps I'll move, but I don't at the moment have any great need to move. I like Bethnal Green.